One of the most common questions I've been asked is, what are the best ETFs for long-term investing? Now, a staple in many investors' portfolios are the very popular S&P 500 ETFs, and these are simply ETFs that track the S&P 500 index. SPY is one of the largest and most heavily traded ETFs in the world, and we all know and love this ETF. It's been praised by well-known investors like Warren Buffett and has been used to create the benchmark 50-50 retirement portfolio. Now, I made it my priority to try and find new ETFs that have been buried behind all the noise surrounding popular ETFs. The purpose of this video is not to trash SPY, but rather to point out its weaknesses and find an alternative investment that carries all the same benefits, but is able to outshine in areas SPY doesn't. And this is where things get really interesting. SPY provides instant diversification with exposure to over 500 leading US companies across various industries. It is extremely liquid with extreme ease of trade execution. The fund has an extremely low expense ratio of only 0.09%, and it has an incredibly long track record, one that has withstood a variety of economic conditions from bull markets to recessions. The S&P 500 is widely regarded as the best representation of overall market health and sentiment. But the real question is there a superior alternative? You see, there are two major problems with SPY: price and risk. Well, when someone mentions the price of a stock or an ETF, you immediately think about how many shares you can buy. An expensive stock has a psychological effect on new, smaller investors who might be deterred from an investment that they may perceive as too expensive. And that is why many well-known stocks like Apple, Amazon, or Tesla will regularly perform what's called a stock split, simply to make the stock more affordable for a broader range of investors, potentially increasing stock price and liquidity by attracting new shareholders. Now, there is an easy fix to this. You see, depending on your brokerage, you may or may not have access to fractional trading, which essentially allows you to buy fractional shares of a stock or an ETF. But the psychological effect will still be there. Now, I've been very vocal about using options to maximize a portfolio's returns. Using covered calls or cash-secured puts can be the perfect way to potentially increase your returns on an investment and generate a little extra cash. Very often, rather than buying a stock or an ETF, investors may sell cash-secured puts and collect premium first. But it's important to note that an investor that sells cash-secured puts is always comfortable with being assigned shares of stock at the strike price they decide to sell at. If you're bearish, you may decide to sell calls against your holdings, collecting premium while the market takes a downward turn. This can increase your potential returns and balance out the losses. But when the stock price is very expensive, it becomes very difficult to use these strategies. You see, for each call option that you sell, you must own 100 shares of stock. Otherwise, you'll be doing what's called naked short selling, which is very dangerous. So for example, if you want to sell 2 call options against SPY, you need to own 200 shares of this ETF. And the same goes for selling cash-secured puts. If you decide to sell 2 put options at the strike price of $440, well, then you need to have cash equivalent of 200 shares. Using these strategies are especially beneficial to investors who are focused on generating premium income, because then they can employ what's called the wheel strategy. Now, depending on the size of your account, you can accumulate a lot of income. But if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your portfolio, then you're missing out on this opportunity with these expensive ETFs. The second issue with these ETFs is risk and asset allocation. You see, the S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index, meaning the weighting of each component is determined by their respective size. This is why these ETFs have such a large percentage allocation in their top 10 holdings. And when a fund is so top heavy, their risk becomes very concentrated, which makes them more susceptible and vulnerable to downside risk. And because the S&P 500 is used as a representation of the overall market, it has a beta value of 1. So now let's get to the main question. Is there a better investment alternative to the S&P 500 ETFs? One that embodies all the benefits, but has a cheaper price with a superior asset allocation technique, resulting in lower price volatility with better risk mitigation. Almost an SPY 2.0. This brings me to JQUA. This is the JPMorgan US Quality Factor ETF. This is an ETF that has flown under the radar for the past 6 years, and I frankly don't understand why. It includes all the great attributes of the S&P 500 ETFs, but it tweaks its strategy just a little bit, providing better overall returns with better risk mitigation, lower volatility, coupled with a cheaper price. Oh, and the cherry on top, better dividend growth. So let's start by running through some fundamentals so you can get a better understanding of this ETF. And Seeking Alpha is the only platform that provides these types of charts, along with details on dividend health scores, dividend growth, dividend yield, and distribution trends. But there's also so much more to explore, from in-depth fund analysis and historical returns to AUM trends. If you want to use the same tools I use, you're in luck because Seeking Alpha's summer sale has officially started. You can get $75 off their premium plan, and that gives you access to all of the same charts and tools I use. So definitely check it out, don't miss out. You can use the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen to get access to the discount. You can also get $124 off their Alpha Picks portfolio, or $173 off their Alpha Picks and Premium bundle. I have been using both for about 3 years now. Alpha Picks is their quant-driven stock portfolio that uses quant and momentum metrics to find potentially powerful long-term growth names, which I personally use to complement my ETF portfolio. And the portfolio is now up 400% versus the S&P 500's 100%. They have so far caught the trend in names like Micron, Celestica, Credo Tech, and AMD well before they boomed. Of course, past performance does not guarantee future results. Definitely check it out and take advantage of the sale while it lasts. Again, you can scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to get access. JQUA was established in November of 2017. The fund has a very low expense ratio of only 0.12% and an average dividend yield equal to SPY at around 1%. Looking at the fund's overall performance, here's where things get really interesting. Year to date, the fund has outperformed the S&P 500 by 4%, returning 14%. And over the last 5 years, it has outperformed the S&P 500 by around 2%, but majority of its time it was outperforming by roughly 10%. The only stretch of underperformance that I see occurred in late 2025 during the recovery, where it lagged the S&P 500 by 4%. Other than that, it has outperformed by providing superior risk management and superior growth so far. But what's even more important is that during the 2022 bear market, this ETF was able to outperform the S&P 500 by almost 7%. So how does this fund work? JQUA tracks the Russell 1000 index and selects a combination of large and mid-cap US stocks based on quality, profitability, and solvency. Okay, so what does this mean? Simply put, quality refers to factors like strong management, competitive advantage, and market positioning. Profitability is pretty self-explanatory. It is the ability to generate consistent earnings. And solvency indicates financial stability. Interestingly enough, when you look at the fund's holding breakdown, based on percentage allocation, it's almost identical to the S&P 500, with large majority in the technology sector at almost 30%. Then healthcare, financials, and consumer cyclical taking up 14%, 13%, and 10% respectively. But there's two key differences. This chart right here represents the asset allocation of JQUA with SPY side by side. You can see a smaller allocation in communication services and a heavier allocation in consumer discretionary and industrials. This tiny little tweak is one of the two reasons this ETF has an edge over SPY. Let's keep going. This chart right here depicts the total percentage of assets in the fund's top 10 holdings. And SPY has almost 30% of all its assets allocated to its top 10. But JQUA has only 19%. This is the reason why the fund has a better risk rating than SPY. And when you look at the fund's individual holding breakdown, you can see that no individual investment takes up more than 2.2% of the fund's assets. This slight variation is also a reason behind the fund's ability to minimize volatility and have better downside risk mitigation. And going back to the fund's overall performance during the 2022 bear market, being able to outperform the S&P 500 by 7% is pretty significant. Now, compared to SPY, the fund has a slightly lower beta at 0.92, meaning that overall it displays less volatility. On top of that, the fund has a slightly better 3-year and 5-year Sharpe ratio compared to SPY at 0.78 versus 0.7 and 0.67 versus 0.6. And for those who don't know, a higher Sharpe ratio indicates that the fund is able to take on less risk in order to provide desired returns. It's also referred to as risk-adjusted returns. Now moving on to the second major benefit of the ETF, which is its price. JQUA has a price of only $72. That is exactly 1/10 of the price of the other popular S&P 500 ETFs. The fund's cheap price is better suited to attract new investors who are seeking cheaper stocks simply because of affordability and smaller portfolio size. And most importantly, the extremely low price gives investors added ability to use option trading strategies to maximize their returns. However, it is important to note that because the fund has lower assets under management, you don't have the same flexibility to trade options as you would with the S&P 500. The fund has lower liquidity, so the availability of option trading may be limited, and you won't be able to get a fair price on the options contracts. But if you plan on using options passively, then there's no issue. And that is all for this video. If you haven't yet, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Discussions of ETFs, investing strategies, market updates, or specific funds are general, not tailored to your financial situation, and should not be relied upon for decision making. Investing involves significant risks, including total loss of principal, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I am not a registered financial advisor. My content reflects personal research and publicly available information. I may earn affiliate commissions from mentioned products or links disclosed per FTC guidelines, but these do not influence my opinions. Always consult a licensed financial professional and verify information independently. By watching this, you agree I am not liable for any losses or consequences from your actions. International viewers should consult local regulations.